And we are live. What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of the Off the Ball podcast with me, your host, Chris LeBron, and we're on the Nothing But Net radio channel on Dash Radio. Appreciate everyone for tuning in every week to the Off the Ball podcast. Today's show is a special episode. I got a New York City legend, a former NBA All-Star on the show. When you think New York City hoops, he's one of the guys that you think about. I got former New Jersey Net, number 2 pick in the 1991 draft, KennyAnderson. Kenny, what's going on?
What's up, Chris? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Beautiful morning. Just had my coffee, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
How's your day so far?
Beautiful morning. Like you said, I just got up and I got to go to my Starbucks to get my coffee.
Yeah. So you're a Dunkin' or Starbucks guy?
I'm a Starbucks guy. For many years, I've been going to Starbucks, but I do go to Dunkin' Donuts here and there when I want some donuts.
Of course. Like I said, we talked about, I'm in Queens right now. You're obviously from Queens, so there's Dunkin' Donuts literally on every corner.
Everywhere.
So I'm so used to it that I'm just like, all right, I can go to the corner here, the corner there. It's just right there. So I'm so used to Dunkin' Donuts. So I usually, or just homemade coffee. That's another way to go.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's an honor to have you on the show. Everyone was looking forward to this. When I said I was having you on the show, everyone was like, "Yo, you're gonna get KennyAnderson." So he's a New York City legend and all that. So, like I said, everyone. Thank you for everyone who's watching right now. I know a lot of people are excited about this show, but Kenny, obviously born in Queens, right? So talk to me about, living in Queens, growing up in Queens, the basketball scene in Queens, because it's legend. Obviously, New York City ball is legendary. But talk to me about growing up in the Queens area playing ball.
Growing up there in Left Rack City, Queens, by the Queens Center Malls, right there, Hoffman Park.
Not too far from here.
I walked everywhere, man, to find the games, to find the park. But Vincent Smith, my mentor, lived in the next building from me, and it was just a thing about just playing ball. I wanted to be the best because his brother, Kenny Smith, went to UNC, went to Malloy, went to the same high school, Malloy High School, UNC, and then he went to the pros. And I wanted to be like him. I wanted to be better than him. So, he just worked me out. I remember going up to his apartment, seeing all his trophies. He had about 200 trophies. I said, I'm going to get more trophies than him. He said, and I did. And I did. So it was just, I watched everything he did, how he talked to the media. I wanted to be Kenny Smith at the time, growing up in Left Rack City, and I wanted to do it better than him.
So obviously, you just mentioned Kenny Smith being one of your eyes. Who else did you look up to, growing up?
So growing up in Left Rack City was Kenny Smith, Mark Jackson, Rod Strickland, Pearl Washington, Kenny Hutchison, Boo Harvey. These are all the guys before me, great point guards. That was just awesome, man. I remember just sitting there watching them guys play in Left Rack City in the tournament we had, and everywhere in the city when they would play, I would go. I would be in the stand watching them guys play, and I wanted to be like those guys and be better than them. I seen it, and some of the things that they went through. I always asked Vincent Smith, my mentor, why didn't they make it, or what, they did this. You can't do this. So, I didn't do what they did growing up. I just wanted to play like them,
Yeah. So when did you realize that, okay, I got a little game. When was that first realization?
Freshman year, Archbishop Law High School. I played freshman. As a freshman, I played varsity.
Yeah.
I would never come in first quarter. He wouldn't start me because I was on I was a freshman. So
that was rare, especially back in the day. It was rare for freshmen to play varsity.
But I guess I didn't have no ego. I was happy to be on the team. At the time, I was happy to be on the team. It really wasn't I'm not going to start. I'm like, oh, that's great. I'm on the team.
That's great, though. It's a great mindset to have.
So I went in second quarter and I never came out after that. But, you know, we won the city championship as a freshman. So I played on a varsity team for 4 years at Archbishop Malloy. And that was the beginning of KennyAnderson. My freshman year at Archbishop Malloy High School, playing for Jack Curran, my high school coach, who I love dearly, who passed away. You know, that's how I made it, man. You know, it's a very hard academic school, Archbishop Malloy High School.
Yes, I know.
I had to do both. I had to play basketball and do well in school, and I did that.
Did you always want to go to Malloy? Was that
your
dream school?
That was my first, because of Kenny Smith went to Malloy. He went to Malloy. I wanted to go to Malloy, and I did. It was very hard academically, but I did what I had to do. I remember going to summer school because I failed Spanish class every year. So you had to go to summer school. If you failed one class, you had to go to summer school. So I went every year to St. Francis High School. I went to summer school there every year for Spanish class, and I passed it, and I got back into Malloy. So it was very difficult school academically, but I survived it. I remember my graduation at Malloy. When I graduated, I started crying, man. They did a big thing for me at my high school because I was the #1 player, out of Malloy through the country. They did at my graduation. It was awesome. And my high school meant everything to me.
How was that transition from going to high school and being put on the varsity right away? Like you said, there's for some schools there's a freshman team, there's junior varsity, and then there's varsity, right? That's usually how it levels. For you, did you start off on the freshman team or junior varsity, or was it straight varsity right away? I started
on varsity. I played varsity basketball from straight up, and it was a great thing for me. I had great teammates, but I was a freshman, and I understood that. And I just, I waited my turn, but I played on the team. So everybody, always waited till I got in the game. One day I didn't get in the first quarter. So a lot of the teams wanted to blow us out first quarter, but we were so good that they wasn't going to do that.
What was that moment when you realized like, oh, okay, I'm playing and like I'm here at the high school level?
I'm not sure, but the city championship, when we played against Talentine High School, it was packed at Fordham Hill gym. It was awesome, man. It was I was 15 years old. Overtime win over Talentine High School. I don't know. I scored majority of points in overtime. I'm not sure. I don't remember how many, but I scored a lot of points, and my career was awesome at Malloy. I really enjoyed it, and I got MVP that night, and I took off from there.
When did you start feeling real comfortable, as a player in high school? Was it right away? Was it from the jump, or was it sophomore year, junior year? Well,
right away. Right away. I knew I could play basketball. Basketball has been easy. Life has been hard. That's the slogan, my documentary slogan, and that's just and that's what I tell my son, my daughter, and everything growing up. I had a skill. God put me on this earth to play basketball. It was easy for me. It really was. And then, life, everything that was thrown at me, I was able to overcome it regardless. And it's a great sign. Yes.
As you said, man, life is tough.
Yeah.
Life can throw you a lot of things, but it's trying, overcoming them and all that is a great thing. When did you start getting college offers? When was that? Was it quick too? Were you getting, we hear stories about people getting recruited at 8 years, 10 years old and all that.
Yeah,
for you, what was that?
I was like 6 years. Yeah, but my junior year, I did this. I did a spread for Newsday magazine. They came to school. They did an article. They did a big article on me junior year, and I had a bunch of articles. I had a bunch of mail from college, and that was the first time, Coach Curran You know, my high school coach, he let you see the letters your junior year. He kept it all from me. And then my senior year, I can get it all. But I was getting so many letters from so many schools at an early age.
I can imagine the letters you were getting.
Yeah, I was getting a lot of letters. And he just threw them in the box, and it was a big box. He just threw them in the box. So it was a great, you know, and then I played in the junior year in the summer. I played in the citywide at Hoffman Park, right down the block from Left Rack, and Dean Smith, Jim Boeheim, Coach Crimmett, all of them came out and watched me play. So everybody was bugging on the college recruiting that I was getting. You know, it was Dean Smith came to the neighborhood, Coach Crimmins, Boeheim, you know, they was recruiting me. So they had to come and see the great Kenny Anderson.
Obviously, you're getting recruited by all these, you know, blue blood schools, all these top flight schools.
Yeah.
How did you come about? You know, what was going to go behind your decision to pick one of these schools? Was it style of play? Was it location? What was that process like?
You know, it was kind of crazy because my high school career took off like my college career. It was the same for 6 years. You know, I really played ball the right way and for the right teams. I always chose so basically I wanted to go to a school that fit me, but I wanted to I wanted to be able to run the team, and I was able to run the team at Georgia Tech. You know, point guard coming in. You know, I was playing with Dennis Scott, who was a great junior, Brian Oliver, who was a senior. It was tough at times, but once we, you know, got it together, we was able to play the right way, and everything clicked. I had, you know, one of the top recruiting classes. Myself, Malcolm Mackey from Chattanooga, he was awesome. Darryl Barnes, Ivano Newbill. It was like 4 of the top picks in high school ball going to Georgia Tech. So it was great, man, down at Georgia Tech in Atlanta. I fell in love with Atlanta. Atlanta was a great town to grow up in, and that's what I did. I went to Georgia Tech. It was just awesome. Coach Crimmins was an awesome coach. I wanted to go to Syracuse at the time because of Pearl Washington.
Yeah.
But you know, my mother, you know, went on my visit with me to Atlanta. Coach Crimmins is from the Bronx.
He's from the Bronx.
So I think that was a real go-getter for my mother. And she was like, I want you to go to Georgia Tech. So I went to Georgia Tech. My mother, you know, she was big on my decision.
So was it always going to be Georgia Tech, or was there another?
Always.
You said Syracuse, right? You Syracuse is in there.
Syracuse with Georgia Tech. It
was between those two.
It was between those two schools, and I chose Georgia Tech, and went from there. It was a great opportunity for me, and I blew up.
You definitely did.
Yeah.
So was it as simple as I just want to play for? You didn't care about that it was down south and you're getting out of the New York area.
I did.
Okay.
I did. I wanted to go. I wanted to move as far as I can from New York because I had to, because of everything was. You know, I love New York. That's my town. That's my city. I love it. But I had to get out of there to grow.
Exactly.
To grow, and went to Atlanta and really found my way. It was just an awesome. And then I played for Coach Crimmins, who was from New York, the Bronx. So
I guess that made it easier for you, right? That he was from New York.
Made it a little easier.
Yeah. So talk to me about, all right, you're the guy in New York City, right? You're winning all these awards, Gatorade Player of the Year, all these awards you're winning, you know, All American, you know, all this, McDonald's, all that. And then you go to Georgia Tech. Everyone's a star, right? Everyone was a star in their city and their town. How do you adjust to that, going from, you know, obviously New York City, you know, and then going to Georgia Tech, and now you're on a big college campus and all that? How was that adjustment for you?
It was a big adjustment for me because I was a star, you know, from New York City. You know, this is the number one recruit we got, you know, so I had to show and prove, and I always was under the beams, like, you know, you got to do it. So I wanted to show and prove to my teammates and to everybody in the world that I was legit. It wasn't just media. So I just worked hard and I waited for my opportunity, and my opportunity there, boom, blew up. You know, I got familiar, with my teammates. I was always a good teammate. It didn't matter. I wasn't a selfish guy, and I grew up, and that's through Vincent Smith, Pierre Turner, my mentors who helped me a great deal from New York. I just wasn't like that. I kept the kid mentality at college.
Yeah.
I just wanted to play basketball, enjoy myself, and win games, and go to school. And I fell in love with Atlanta, the school. I fell in love with school, going to school there and playing ball there. And my teammates to this day, we're so close. Brian DeMalik, who went to school down there with Dennis Scott, Brian Oliver, Malcolm Mackey, Ivano. We still stay in touch to this day. And that's just the type of person I was, and I still am. It doesn't matter how big I got. I just was KennyAnderson to them. That's just how I am.
Well, what was that? When was that moment that you realized, okay, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be all right your freshman year? Because obviously we talk about that adjustment, right? That adjustment period from high school to college. And I've talked to a lot of kids who've come on the show, and they talk about how big that adjustment is from being a star in high school and then, being just one of those, not playing minutes. Some guys might not be playing a lot of minutes or not, but for you, you came in and you're averaging 20 plus points a game, 8 assists. So for you, was it an easy adjustment as far as on the court in college?
It was easy for me because it started back in Malloy.
Yeah.
See, that's my life.
Yeah. Everything comes back to Malloy.
Everything goes back to Malloy High School and the way I grew up. It was just ninth grade, I was a star. So I always kept that going.
That New York toughness, man. It's something about that New York toughness that gets people ready for, no matter anything.
There you are. You said it right there. The New York toughness. It wasn't going, it wasn't going to shock me. The pitfalls, I was going to get back up and keep going, because I grew up, and my family, we just had a rough life. So it was like, yo, you good.
Yeah.
You good. Just keep working. And I just kept working, man.
So talk to me about, Lethal Weapon 3. That's what they called you, right?
Yeah.
You Dennis Scott, Brian Oliver, you guys averaged 20 points, which is especially college basketball back then where it was a slower pace, for 3 guys to average 20 a game. That was great. You guys had a tremendous talk to me about that whole, you were the ACC player, rookie of the year and all that. Just talk to me about that season, because you guys had a tremendous season going all the way to the Final Four. Talk to me about that year, because it was a special season.
Yeah, it was a special season, not for me, but just for Georgia Tech history.
Yeah.
I was rookie of the year. Brian Oliver got MVP of the ACC tournament. Dennis Scott was player of the year. He was scoring. He was scoring.
Sniper. He was a sniper.
We won the ACC tournament. We went to the Final Four. It was just an awesome, and I think it goes back and with the team, the chemistry of the team was so strong. The guys on the team knew that us 3 was the scorers, and then they just got around and played defense and rebounded, and we just and that's what you got to have. You got to have guys that know their role. And we had great guys that know their role in the game of basketball. Johnny McNeil was a senior. Malcolm Mackey was my freshman. He played extremely well. Carl Brown came off the bench, played extremely well defensively. He was a soccer player overseas and played basketball. So we had a great team, and it was due to just team chemistry. Everybody knew their role. And accepted it, and boom, and we had a great year. And it was great, a lot of fun at Georgia Tech.
I'm glad you say that. Everyone played their role, and I think that's so important. And I think especially with a lot of young players today and the young kids, they everyone wants to be a star, right? But you could be a star in your role, right? And that's why you see a lot of these great teams. And like for instance, I'm a Knicks fan. I see what the Knicks are doing this year. Yeah. There's not a bunch of stars on that team, but everyone's being a star in their role.
Yep.
Right. And I think that's very important, because we see teams that have so much talent and they're, bottom of the barrel, in the leagues, and no matter college, whatever. And you're like, but no one's buying into the role. But like you said, everyone bought into the role, and that's why you guys were so successful.
Yeah, that's why we were so successful, and that's what you got to do as a coach now. I got to get that. I got to find that niche, of great role players and star players, and that's it. Those are great coaches. That's what they do, and that's what Coach Crimmins did to the coaching staff. Kevin Cantwell was from New York. Sherman Dillard now he coaches at Iowa. He's assistant coach at Iowa. He's still there. Those are good men, man. They're great men, and these people I will always have a good relationship with throughout my life, and it's awesome.
So you're a freshman. You're going into the big dance. What was that mindset for you guys? For you as a freshman, and then the team going into the tournament, high expectations. What was that like? With March Madness for you? Yeah,
March Madness was great. I knew everybody. Back home, I wanted New York. That was my thing. You know what I'm saying? Back home, they was gonna watch and they was gonna see what type of work I could do. And we was just excited. We was in the tournament. We was mad because I remember we was eating, seeing when we won this ACC championship, and we got 4. We ranked 4.
Oh, the 4 seed.
Yeah, so we was the 4 seed. So I'm like, So, it was all good though. We knew, it wasn't gonna be easy. And it wasn't, that whole tournament. But close games, that's what I tell her. Close games in college was nothing to us because we had close games. We executed down the stretch when we had to every time.
So you guys wound up beating Michigan State. That's how you beat the number 1 seed?
We played East Tennessee State the first game of the tournament. We won that. Then we played Shaquille O'Neal LSU second game. They was blowing us out. We came back and we won the game, beat them. Then we played Michigan State and Minnesota. That's when we started at the Superdome in New Orleans. It was awesome. We beat Michigan State, Steve Smith and them guys.
Yeah,
played extremely well.
Steve Smith was a monster back then too. He was a stud.
He did extremely well. He was a stud. And then we beat Willie Burton. Went to Minnesota. He killed us. He had a good game, and that's how we got to the Final Four. Willie Burton had a great. He had a great career at Minnesota, but he had a great game, and we pulled it off.
All right, so you win that game, and now you're going against UNLV.
Yeah.
How is that? Because there's Greg Anthony, Larry Johnson. You got some dogs there. How was that?
It was an exciting game. It was awesome. They had 4 pros: Greg Anthony, Stacey Augmon, Larry Johnson, 3 pros, and it was just awesome. Anderson Hunt. It was a challenge for us, but we felt if we would beat UNLV, we was gonna win the game. We was gonna win the national to Duke because we had their numbers. And Arkansas, we didn't know, but we felt that Duke was gonna beat Arkansas, and then we was gonna. We knew the hardest part was to get through UNLV, and we played extremely well. But I got into foul trouble and kind of. We lost by 8 to 10 points, but we should have. We could have beat them. Larry Johnson fouled out, and I think Stacey Augmon had a big game against us. He had extremely. Greg Anthony was solid, and Anderson Hunt was good, but it was a great game. But we fell short.
Do you replay that game back and thinking, man, if we would have beaten UNLV, we played Duke and we could beat Duke and I got a national championship under my
I think about when the NCAA tournament comes on. I think about other than that, it's over with. It's over with. They had a better team. But
they steamrolled Duke in the national championship.
Yeah, the next game they steamrolled Duke. But we had a very good team and we went very far. And that was a blessing.
So you come back for your sophomore year, team's different.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that transition to the next season. You guys don't have as much success, So talk to me about, was there a different vibe going into that? I know you lose some big time players, obviously.
Yeah, we lost.
Was the vibe different?
Yeah, we lost some big time players, but we was very big. Matt Gagger, Malcolm Mackey, John Barry. You know, he came in, and myself. We had a very good team, but it just was roller coaster. We just had too much. You know, too many new faces came in, and you know, guys. You know, I could have did better as far as getting the team, you know, together. You know, you know, it was a lot of, is he going to come out this year? Is he not?
Yeah.
So it was a lot of, you know, if you want to call it pressure, it really was not no pressure. It was just, you know, just seeing what I was going to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I scored extremely a lot of points. You know, I became more of a scorer.
Yeah, because you were averaging like 26, right? Because your points went up big, you know.
Yeah, I was like a scorer, and that really wasn't my game. If I had, I would, but I wanted to dish, you know, see what we had out there. We had a very good team, and as you said, you know, when I look at it now, we should have done better than what we did with the team we had. We had
because you had pros. You got pros on that second year.
Yeah, we had some pros, and I was lucky. I was a guard, little, you know, 6'2", but then I had a big team around me, so we should have did a lot better, but it was just different. Everybody was going different things in their heads. John Barry was new to the ACC. He was trying to prove himself. Matt Gagger, he played in the NBA for many years. He sat out last year. He was coming in. He wanted to prove himself. Malcolm Mackey was a great player. Played for Georgia Tech for 4 years, but first year he was like, you know, it was just me, Dennis Scott Brown. He wanted to show prove he belonged. Then me with the pros, and it was just a lot of distractions that kept our team down. But we was pretty good, but we just didn't show it.
Yeah. Did you think that you would go pro before the season, or, you know, what was that process like? Like you said, a lot of speculation whether you're going to go pro. I mean, you just had a hell of a. I mean, you probably could have went pro after your freshman year, and back then that wasn't, you know, a known thing as is now, where everyone is one and done. So was that on your head, or were you said, I'm going to wait till the season's over to evaluate everything and then make my decision?
Yeah, you know, it was. I didn't really want to go pro. I was having too much fun in school. I loved school. I loved the Atlanta area. I just loved what it gave me. I thought I was going to go my junior year, would have been good. But I was going 1, 2, or 3. So I had to, you know, my coach was like, you got to leave, you know, and then I left, you know. That was the reason. But I really was comfortable with staying in school.
So you said your coach is like, just you have to go. You're not coming back.
Yeah. Coach Crimmins, he was big with that. And he knew I had.
Because he could have just said, "No, we want you to stay 4 years," and you know, try to win.
I know he would have got 1 year in me. I would have said, "Okay, I'll stay." But you know, he was a genuine coach. Coach Crimmins was great to be around. I loved him, and he was like, "Nah, you got to go."
Yeah, and so you made that decision after the season. That was after.
Yeah, a little bit after. I had a press conference. It was cool.
So now you're prepping for the draft. You know, I'm sure you're hearing you maybe go 1, 2. What was that process like, getting ready for the draft?
Yeah, it was cool. You know, I just was working out, playing, enjoying myself, enjoying the college career down in Atlanta. Yeah, it was awesome. You know, but you hear all type of things. You just gotta just stay focused, stay, you know, what it was about. And I knew I was talented enough to go 1, 2, or 3. So I went on my visit to Sacramento. So I thought I was going to go 3 to Sacramento because I went. They was loving me. They loved they told me I was going to go 3. So I believed them. So the New Jersey Nets was picking 2. And I didn't really know. So they picked me. Willis Reed was the general manager. It was just awesome coming back home. It was just awesome.
Did you think that you should have been number 1, or were you like, all right, Larry's going number 1 no matter what? Because Larry was obviously a monster, and you ended up.
We joke around when we see each other. I said I should have been 1. I'll joke around with them, but they had Muggsy Bogues in Charlotte, so I think they didn't want no point guard. They saw Larry Johnson, and they picked him. So it was all good. You know, he went 1, I went 2. You know, it was awesome. It was good.
So it's draft night. You know, what is that feeling like? I mean, you're going top 5, right? Guaranteed, right? But you know, you hear everyone saying is like, you know, even if they know they're going number 1, when they hear their name, it's a different like feeling. So for you, when you hear your name, New Jersey Nets number 2 pick, Kenny Anderson, Georgia Tech, what is the feelings? What is that feeling when you hear your name being
great,
called?
you know, being that I was home, you know, Queens lived right down, you know, the Garden was 30 minutes from me. All my guys was out, you know, cheering for me and hoping the best for me. And when I heard my name, my mother started crying. She was excited. She was in the green room with me, and it was just an awesome feeling. My high school coach was there. It just was great, man. Refreshing, you know, to know that, you know, I'm in the NBA. I reached my goal. I reached my goal was to make it to the NBA. And I played high school ball great, college ball great, but now pro. So it was just awesome, man. And I got drafted, you know, to the Nets, which is an hour and a half from being home.
Right there. So
So
you're back home essentially. You were back home.
So it was an awesome feeling, and being drafted by the Nets was great.
So how did it feel to get drafted? Like obviously New Jersey's in a different state, but you know, we know it's close by. How did it feel to come back to the tri-state area and play ball?
Oh, it was awesome. It was great. I was back home. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Man, I can't even put it in words. I was just happy to be, you know, home with my mom, my family, being in New York. It was just an awesome feeling.
Yeah. So what was that welcome to the NBA moment where you were like, oh, this is different?
So it was different, but I played my first game. I held out and I came back and I played against the Detroit Pistons. You know, Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars. I had, I think, 11 points and something. I don't know how many assists, but, you know, they were great. You know, it was a great moment for me to be involved in. I was excited. I just was ready to play. And then after that, it turned. I didn't play a lot my first year because of Bill Fitch. And I don't know why. It's just one of them reasons. You know, you think back on it now, you say maybe he wanted Billy Owens and not Kenny Anderson, but I don't know. So I don't get caught up into that. You know, I just didn't play. He was a great coach, a Houston great coach with the Celtics. Bill Fitch was a great coach. I don't really, you know, I didn't talk to him. I didn't get to know him. It was just a different situation when you got to the pro.
Yeah, of course.
And that was the first time, you know, the first thing I learned. You know, it's just you shut up and just do your job. You know, and that's what my coaches say. Just be patient. And boom, you know, the following year, Chuck Daly took over, and that's when I became Kenny Anderson again.
What was who was the toughest matchup that first year? Like, was it that first game against Detroit? You said, going against Dumars and
everybody. I was just playing with grown men. Everybody, you know, grown men. You know, you're not college no more. Playing against, Kevin Johnson was tough. Tim Hardaway was tough. Everybody in the league was tough.
Physicality too, man.
Physicality changed, and then the offseason. So I had to see all of that, and I worked extremely hard next year. And, you know, you have to go through it. And it was a blessing, you know, that I made it. And I was seeing, you know, the ups and downs of the NBA, the league. It was awesome.
So you become an all-star in your third year. What do you think was the biggest thing for you from rookie season to third year being an NBA all-star in a league where you got Michael Jordan, Karl Malone, Stockton, all these great players? You know, what was that like?
Just playing. I didn't play right away.
Yeah.
If I would have played right
away. So
you
just needed playing time. It's that simple. Just playing time.
Yeah. If I would have played right away, I would have understood it. But I didn't. I sat back. I had to learn by looking at and watching. And I said, oh. So the one thing I know about the NBA, it was just strength. Strength. You know, everybody, you know, and I said, I got to work out, get in the gym, work out, on my strength. And then once that became, right on point, I started getting better with it. I started getting better.
So, like I said, you become an all-star. What was that like, being selected to the all-star game and then knowing that you're going to be an all-star with all these Hall of Fame players around you?
It was great. It was great. Being an all-star, something that, I knew I could do. I just had to have the people voting for me. And this is awesome because I didn't get chosen from a coach. My fans, my supporters, I started as and it was awesome to me. It was a great feeling to know that the fans respect me enough to vote for me, and they did. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like we just talked about before. You get named, your name is called to be drafted into the league, and then like you said, your rookie year goes not the way you wanted to, but then just a few years after, you're an all-star. I mean, that must have been a beautiful thing to just see that that growth.
Yeah, definitely. It was like I said, it was just I knew it was coming. It's just a matter of me getting out there playing and seeing, how the pros, and that's the big thing, the physical strength of the pros when you get there. And that's what you got to do. You got to work extremely hard, and that's what I did.
Yeah, you did. You played 14 years, right, in the NBA? They say the average lifespan in the NBA is what, 3 to 4 years, maybe. And you hit 14 years. Like that's an incredible accomplishment for you. So do you look back and just say, wow, like I played 14 years in the NBA? Yeah. Like that's an amazing feat.
I think I wanted to play 20. But my mindset changed. That's what I wanted to do. My mindset changed, and I'll let people know. I stopped working extremely hard on my craft. You know what I mean, and that's one of the reasons I feel I didn't play longer. And it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I play high school ball, college ball, pro ball, and it's a blessing for me to just play that long in the NBA. But I didn't work I didn't work hard enough to maintain my goals. For whatever reason. We don't know. But when I made it to the NBA, I didn't work. I just up roller coaster.
Yeah.
I played hard. I worked every now and then, Now I look at these guys, LeBron James, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant, Michael. They worked extremely hard on their craft. Night in, night out. I didn't do that. I really did. I was able to cruise a little bit with my talent.
You were able, even you saying that, you still were able to be an 18-9 guy at times.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, wow, I could have been crazy. I know. I'm telling you, if I would have had the work ethic like I had in high school, college, I probably could average 20 to 25 points. And definitely 10 assists, easy.
You were close to it. I'm looking at your stats. You had a season where you averaged 9.6. So essentially, you were averaging 10 assists a game.
Yeah.
If you want to round it out,
That's what I understood it, but I had a lot of demons growing up, and I just it all came out off court, and it boom, it was hard.
Yeah. So. Like you said, you played 14 years. You had a couple stints. What was your favorite teams to play for during your whole 14-year career?
There's only 3 teams that I give a lot of love to: the New Jersey Nets, Boston Celtics, and Portland Trailblazers. Those when I played 30+ minutes. I was playing a lot of minutes. Those 3 teams. Everybody else, I was just in and out. I was just on their rosters and stuff like that. But those 3 teams, I played 4 years for New Jersey Nets, 5 years with the Celtics, and 2 years with Portland Trailblazers. And it was a blessing playing for those teams. I really loved it.
How tough was it leaving New Jersey after, they drafted you, you spent time there? Was that tough to leave?
It wasn't tough because of, rest in peace, Drazen Petrovic had passed away.
He was so good. I don't think people realize how good he was.
He was really good. And he passed away, and then everything just went downhill from there. We just, I needed, Derek Coleman left with the Philly, and then I went to Charlotte. It was a great situation for me to be in, and other than that, we had to move on. But I think his death really hurt the New Jersey Nets when I was there.
Yeah, I mean, you Petrovic and Coleman, I mean, do you think about like what you guys could have done? Like maybe
we think about it. With him there longer, we would all, who knows? We would have finished our career with the Nets. Who knows? I don't know. But he was a great player. Worked extremely hard. Was a great friend. He was good. He was a good guy.
Yeah. How do you feel about the Nets now? Obviously, they're in Brooklyn now. It's different, right? They moved over. They're the other team in New York. How do you feel about the Brooklyn Nets right now and everything they're doing?
Nets this year, they got three of the top players in the league. James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. They're awesome. You know what I'm saying? I'm picking them to win it. To win it all.
That was my preseason pick. I know I'm a Knicks fan, and Knicks fans might get on me, but that was my pick because even before the Harden trade, I just liked the way their team. If they were healthy, to me, they had everything what it takes to win it to get to the championship.
They're gonna play tonight or tomorrow night with three. The threesome will play tomorrow night. For the Brooklyn Nets. We're gonna see. We're gonna see how they looking. They only played 7-8 games together. So. But I'm really glad, and this is true. I'm really glad. I'm not a Knicks fan, but the metropolitan area, the teams,
booming,
and the Knicks are doing great, and it's great for basketball for the fans.
Yes,
of the New York area, and that's a blessing. And I'm glad the Knicks winning this year. Tom Thibodeau is one of the best coaches in the NBA. Julius Randle is up and coming. He's balling, and then all the guys. I think. Accepting their role, exactly. And they're just playing basketball, and they're listening, and you got to give a lot of credit to the guys that they bringing in there playing for them, and the whole New York Knicks staff. Kudos, you get nothing but they're A's. They get A's this year.
Yes,
They're playing.
Like you said,
they play extremely well, and I know my mother and my brother. They turning over in the grave right now. They love it because the Knicks are playing well.
Yeah, it's been a while, Kenny. It's been a while. The Knicks have been struggling, for the last 8 years. But it's like you said, the Knicks and the Nets, playing great basketball right now is all it does is make New York City basketball that much more exciting, right? Because there was some bad years for New York City where the Nets and the Knicks were both not good. Or the Nets had a run, and so it's good to see that the city is booming right now, and both teams have a chance to do some serious stuff. But I got a few more things before I let you go, Kenny, and I appreciate you being on the show. It's definitely been a blast. We got Kenny Anderson, former NBA All-Star on the Nothing But Radio channel on Dash Radio. When you look at your NBA career as a whole, what do you think when you think about your NBA career as a whole?
I think like what I was saying is just a blessing, man. I'm glad I could, play 14 years in the NBA, but just my whole basketball career it's just been a blessing, man. I thank God for giving me the skills to play the game that I truly love, and that's basketball, and getting me to, this point with my family. I'm able to take care of my family well. And, just everything, man. It's just an awesome feeling. Basketball, like I said, man, and I'll say it again. Basketball has been easy. Life's hard. That's my slogan, my Mr. Chip slogan. If you haven't seen the documentary, you go see it because it's nothing but real. It's nothing but real. Jill Campbell did a hell of a job directing it. It's my documentary, Mr. Chibbs. That was my nickname my mother gave me. And the whole New York gave me Chibs. That's what the New York used to call me. So it's just I just thank God, man, for giving me the blessing to play basketball.
Yep, that's a beautiful thing. And I was about to ask you about the Chips thing because that's what people will ask me, where you get the nickname from. But you're the head coach right now at Fisk University, right? How did that come about? I mean, that's a beautiful thing too.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. For me, to coach I'm on the NAI level, small school, 850 kids. Now, strong point about Fisk University, it's an HBCU, very, very highly academic school, academically. They brought me in here to see how I could build the basketball program up. And, I've been here for 2 years. I love it. I love it down here in Nashville. And, it's a blessing, but it's a lot of work on the college level, the recruiting and things of that nature and the administration part of it. I'm seeing a lot of the administration part of it through. I never knew, that it go. And I went to Georgia Tech, but I was just in another bubble. We just played, but now I'm seeing it's very difficult, for these young black men to come here to play, stress-free, and that's what I'm trying to get off. And I always tell them guys the real about me, about my career, and and I think and my mother always said it gets you far when you tell the truth and not lie. And I gotta call a spade, And
no, that's true though.
It's true, but I guess with this business, there's a lot of liars in this business.
That's for sure.
And that's why I'm here at the small level. It's great. And I have a showcase down in Cleveland, getting the kids in. Ian Cunningham runs it. Have it on May 28th in Cleveland. And to get kids in to Division II schools, Division III, NAIA schools. So that's something that I love to do, to help them young men, not just the Division I players, but the Division II, III guys that wants to go to college and get an education and play basketball, do something, and that's a blessing. And that's what I'm doing. And it's a great cause.
Yeah. I went to a JUCO school 10 years ago, and I would see these kids that, they used to go, they were at D1 schools, and now they go from, being on a big time campus and all these top 5 facilities. And now we're in a 2-floor, building, and there is no facilities. You got to travel, to the west side, to go play ball or whatever. So I would see that from guys, and they would,
maybe you on that bus. We ain't on no planes.
Yeah, bus. You got to take the train. I've heard the stories. I would hear like guys, we got to take 2 trains. We got to take a bunch of trains to get to the practice and all that. But it would fuel you to like, hey, I don't want to be here. Or you can just be like, oh, I'm just gonna keep pouting, and you go nowhere. But I would see a lot of guys get back to the D1 level, and I would see a lot of guys just be stuck, and they don't get to that level. So I understand that role because JUCO could be tough. It's tough.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to coach. It was a dream of mine. Like I want to be like my high school coach, Jack Kern.
Yeah, legend.
The legend, and that's what I saw. I could have coached on D1 level, and that's not me. I want to try to build this program up and see if I can do it. Yeah. I've only been here 2 years. Hopefully, I can do it.
Yeah. But how have you, learned to be a coach, or like how did you, obviously you played at a high level, tremendous college player, tremendous pro career, but now coaching, right? And coaching's different. I'm sure you've coached, younger kids, and all that, but now you're coaching at a college level. How have you adjusted to that?
Yeah, it's pretty difficult. I'm just learning. I'm learning.
Yeah.
I know how to play basketball. Forget that. But just the coaching aspect of it is really difficult. And I'm just learning. And this is great for me to be at a Fisk University, HBCU, NAIA level where I can learn. And that's all I can say. Different, dealing with different players, it's a lot
from different backgrounds, everywhere,
different backgrounds, different players. It's really difficult at times. And then you got to deal with the administration part of it, getting these young men in school, and then you might have some where they don't come. We can't get them in, and God, I need this kid.
Yeah,
it's tough, man. It's tough, But it's you just got to keep working at it if you really believe in it. I believe in it, so I'm gonna keep working. And it's early. I've been here coaching, 2 years. So these young men are teaching me.
yes,
and it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing.
That definitely is a blessing. But Kenny, I got one more thing I want to ask you before we sign off. And like I said, I appreciate your time. This has been a tremendous conversation, and like I said, an honor to have you on. But I want to ask you one thing. We're back in New York City.
Yeah.
3-on-3.
Yeah.
Who the 2 guys you bringing on the court with you? Anyone. You can pick anyone. You got 2 guys you got to pick. Who you taking on the court with you?
2 guys. I'm gonna go with
2 guys, right? You got the 3. They ready,
yeah.
And you got to pick 2. Who's your 2 that joining you on the court?
I'll go Rod Strickland.
Ooh.
And Lloyd Daniels.
Ooh, okay.
Lloyd Daniels. He's gonna be out. He's gonna rebound. He's 6'9", 6'10", and me and Rod just gonna play with him outside on the court. Rod is a good friend of mine. I love him. I love everything he stands for. And Lloyd Daniels is a good guy. I talk to him now. Just, those 2 guys I got nothing but love for. Much respect for also.
Yes. You and Rod together. Ooh,
yeah.
Ooh, I could just see the ball. Oh man, I know a lot of people would be excited to see that.
Yeah.
Lloyd Daniels too, another great one. But Kenny, man, this was a pleasure to have you on. I appreciate you taking time. I know you're a busy man. I appreciate you taking time this early morning, to chop it up with me. This has been such a fun show, man. Yeah,
thank you, man. And it's been a great show for Saturday morning. Now I can start my day.
Yes.
It's great. New York, I love you. I love New York.
Yes.
Everything about it. Everything.
Yes. Like I said, and the jersey. I mean, the jersey is absolutely that jersey. Like
the Brooklyn jersey. They sent me a Brooklyn jersey. It's awesome with my name in the back.
Oh, that's dope.
That's dope. And that's the first team that ever done that for me.
Yeah.
Got my own jersey with my name. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Like I said, everyone, that's Kenny Anderson, former 14-year NBA pro, NBA All-Star, Georgia Tech legend, New York City legend. Kenny, thank you again for coming on the show, brother.
Oh, man. It's a pleasure. Peace.
Yes. Everyone, make sure to follow Kenny, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everything, make sure to catch his documentary. Like you said, I'll put all the links below and all that. But on that note, guys, be well, be safe, take care, be kind to each other, and take care, guys. Off the ball, we are out.